Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Becomes the Jedi Warrior movie. Before we start, please go support Silverlion 12k for writing that awesome fanfic. On the planet of Courasant, where the Jedi Council meet, many of the masters had gathered together to see if there was any change to the list of Force-sensitive children. During this meeting there was a great change. Chapter 1 Awaken. There was a major change that was about to go down. This had happened often, but as time progressed, once every few years, but little did the world expect one more Force-sensitive child to awaken. It was on the planet Courasant where the Master Jedi had congregated together. During this meeting they checked the holocron of Force-sensitive children, only to discover that one more name was added upon there. All the masters who sat in the council believed this to be the sign that Force-sensitive children were still around, but were far more difficult to track down. The council then decided who they should send to retrieve a child in order to begin his training. Many of the masters would seem intimidating to the regular civilian. Master Qui-Gon Jinn couldn't accept the mission due to becoming the master to Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was taking the trails to become a knight. It was then when two of the newly appointed masters volunteered to meet the child. The two Jedi's names were Galen Marek and Cal Kestis. Pal. Masters, I believe Galen and I would be the best candidates for this mission. Yoda. Right you are. Depart soon. Galen. Okay Cal, why did you nominate us? Pal. We may be new masters, but think about it, all the other masters on the council seem pretty intimidating. Balin. I see your point now. We'll take my ship. Juno should be ready to launch. When the two masters made their way to the landing docking bay, they met up with Juno, who was making sure the rear shadow was in top condition. Juno. Hello Galen and Cal, you're off on a mission I assume. Cal. Hey Juno, yeah, we're on a mission. Balin. How long till the shadow is ready to depart? Juno. In 3 minutes, let's prepare for takeoff. I suggest before we land at our destination you should wear the Jedi robes. As the takeoff sequence was starting, both Galen and Cal went to separate quarters to change into their robes. Juno. Before you change, where are we headed to? Cal. We're heading to Earth, our mission is in Japan. When the two walked out fully dressed in Jedi apparel, Juno had made the jump to hyperspace to pass the time. Cal and Galen had played chess to occupy their time. Juno put the ship on autopilot so she could play some music on her harp. After a few hours the ship had given the signal that they were exiting hyperspace. Juno activated the camouflage feature on the rogue shadow. The crew of 3 had landed in what seemed to be a junkyard. As they left the area they saw a small city and began to follow the faint force trail that they could sense. When the two masters continued to follow the force trail they came upon a housing complex where they spotted 2 children playing in the sandbox. One child was able to lift many of the toys around him, while his friend was in awe. They saw 4 adults, which meant those must be their guardians. Both Cal and Galen made their way towards the adults, waving to them, announcing their presence. Cal. Hello. Galen. Good afternoon. May we help you? Spoke a green-haired woman who wore a blue skirt, a white button-up and a pink cardigan sweater. While her husband looked to be ready for a fight, he was a man with green curly hair. Cal. Yes, my name is Cal Kestis, and this is my associate Galen Marek. We'd like to speak to the parents of the young green-haired child. Inko. My name's Inko Midoriya and this is my husband Hisashi Midoriya. We're the child's parents. Hisashi. What do you want with my son? Balin. Relax, we're from the Jedi Council on Courasant. We sensed an awakening in the Force and we've come to meet the child. Inko. Isn't that his quirk? Pal. I'm afraid not. Before landing here I investigated this world. Quirks appear around age 4, your child appears to be about 3. Balin. We're not here to take the child by force, but we'd like for the boy to come with us in order for him to be trained in the ways of the Jedi. Hold up, nobody is taking Izuku-chan. Pal. Who might you be, miss? Mitsuki. Mitsuki Bakugo. His aunt. Balin. We came to talk peacefully, we'd like to know what his parents want to do from this moment on. Hisashi. Would we get to see our son again? Pal. That is up to the Force to decide whether or not your paths cross again. I can guarantee that when he begins his training we will teach him a technique that will allow him to speak to you while you sleep. He'll appear in your dreams and you'll be able to see him. This conversation was interrupted by a squeaky voice. Mommy Kakin and me are hungry, can we have a snack? Izuku. Hello Izuku. The green-haired boy waved to Cal, which sent him flying and slammed him into a tree. Izuku was horrified, thinking he actually injured someone. Balin. Cal, you okay? Pal. Please give me a stim. After getting treated by Galen, Cal was feeling a lot better. He approached Izuku and knelt down to his level. Izuku. I'm very sorry, mister. Pal. Don't worry, you just need someone to teach you how to use the Force. Izuku. The Force. Galen. The Force is the power you have that sent my friend flying. To show Izuku a small demonstration of the Force, both Galen and Cal used the Force to levitate the kids' toys. Izuku was amazed at what the two were doing. Izuku? Would I be able to do that one day? Pal. With practice and proper guidance. Balin. Inko, Hisashi, we won't take your son by force, decide if you'd like for him to be trained. Hisashi. What happens if he isn't trained? Pal, more accidents like mine will occur, he will be a powerful child. Before leaving, Galen hands the Midoriya family a communicator to contact them again. 2 days later. Balin and Cal were meditating until the ship received an incoming communication from the Midoriya family. Transmission. Inko. Hello GD Masters Cal and Galen, we've made a tough decision and we choose to let Izuku go. Transmission end. Balin and Cal went back to the apartment complex. There outside waiting for them was the Midoriya and Bakugo family. The two masters had told the families to follow them. As they arrived back to the junkyard, Galen had Juno remove the camouflage feature from the rogue shadow. As they waited for the family to say their goodbyes. Inko. Izu, we may not see each other again, but please know we will always love you. Izuku. Love you too, mommy. Hisashi. Even if we're not there with you, we'll always be there. They put a locket-type necklace around his neck. As they opened it, there was 2 pictures, one of his family, the other of the Bakugo family. On the outside it was engraved with the kanji for hero. He hugged his family, auntie, uncle and best friend. He boarded the ship waving goodbye. Chapter 2 to Courasant time skip. Once the 2 GD Masters and Izuku boarded the ship, Juno had the ship take off. Izuku sat in a seat and checked his bags to see what belongings were packed for him. There were clothes, a few books and his handheld gaming device that his father made, which could handle emulating different ROMs like GBA, PSP, Dreamcast, DS-PS2. Hisashi was an inventor for a support company and enjoyed making things for Izuku. He set that aside for another time. Izuku read a book to pass the time. Al and Galen were surprised that Izuku was calm and silent. From what they heard from other masters was that they would cry about going home and not wanting to leave their families. Cal approached Izuku wanting to know if he was alright since he was silent for a good while. Pal. Hey Izuku, are you okay? Izuku. No, I'm sad I won't see my family, but when I get big and strong, maybe I'll see them again. Pal. Izuku, through the force anything is possible, we can even talk to those who aren't in this world anymore. Izuku. Really? Pal. Really? I was your age when the GD Council picked me up. When I got older my teacher Jero Tapel taught me many things, he became like my second family. Izuku. Where is he now? Pal. He's training another student. You see, when you become a GD you have a teacher, but when you move up ranks there comes a time when you are allowed to have a student of your own. Izuku. Wow, so who will my teacher be? Balin came into the conversation when he heard Izuku ask who would train him. Balin. You see Izuku, the council decides which teacher is assigned to you. Izuku. Oh. Balin. Don't worry kid, all the GD masters are kind, they will show it in a special way. Izuku. Would I ever see you two again? You're the first GD I've met, so it'd be sad if I couldn't see you. Balin. You'll see us around kid, and if not just know we're connected through the force. Izuku. What exactly is the force? Pal. For our ally is the force. And a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Izuku. Okay. Will I understand it more as I learn? Balin. You will. We were just as confused as you when we began to learn, and as time passed we understood. Some more time passes. Izuku decided to take a nap while they wait to arrive at Courasant. After a few hours Cal is lightly shaking Izuku to wake up. Pal. Izuku, we're here. When they depart from the Rouge Shadow, Izuku saw many men who wore the same apparel as Cal and Galen. Pal. Masters, please allow me to introduce Izuku Midoriya. Izuku stood straight and bowed as he introduced himself. Hello, my name is Izuku Midoriya. A small green man approached the boy. Yoda. Strong as the boy, sense it I can. Come child, beginning now your training does. Time skip 5 years later. When Izuku first arrived on Courasant he was 3 years old, now he's 8 and has dedicated vast amounts of time to his studies. He was far ahead of many in his age group. He was assigned to both masters Galen and Cal. This was a trial given to them by the council. If Izuku exceeds expectations, both masters would be granted the privilege to train more Padawans. However, should Izuku fall below expectations, the council would later decide when Cal and Galen would be ready to teach. So far through the 5 years Izuku had been a GD in training, he has exceeded all expectations and impressed many masters who complimented his masters for a great job on training Izuku. This was also an important time for Izuku as he was given permission to participate in the gathering. This was a special time for younglings when they create their lightsabers. This trip was led by both masters Marak and Kestis, who took the younglings to the planet Ilum, where they would search for kyber crystals. While on this trip many of the other younglings felt Izuku didn't belong on the trip, except one whose name was Lily Sinclair, a beautiful fair-skinned girl who had golden hair, along with blue eyes like the clear skies. Lily always liked Izuku although she was 2 years older than him, they both were the closest of friends. They talked about the many possibilities on how getting a kyber crystal worked, but they'd soon find out. After some time passed they landed on Ilum where the two masters explained how this trial goes. Hal. Okay younglings, this trial is for you alone, Master Marak, and will not hold your hand. Should you fail to return without a crystal it will become harder for you to obtain one down the line. None of the younglings paid attention to what Cal had said, except for Izuku, Lily and a young Wookiee named Croc. Both Lily and Croc had taken Izuku's example and listened while the others paid no attention. Cal allowed them into the crystal cavern where they would find their crystal. Everyone ran in except Izuku, Lily and Croc as they looked at Izuku, as if he knew what to do. Lily. Izuku, what do we do? Both Lily and Croc waited for the answer, but Izuku answered like any Jedi would, trust in the Force, for it is your guide. He then separated himself to go and look for his crystal. After time passed, what surprised the masters was that 5 out of the 8 students returned empty-handed. Hal was very dissatisfied with how many failed the gathering. Just after 10 minutes Izuku, Lily and Croc returned with kyber crystals in hand. Balin. Congratulations to you 3 who successfully obtained your crystals. You're ready to construct your lightsabers. As for the rest of you, it will be far more difficult the next chance you get to participate in the gathering. Now came the next rite of passage to become a Padawan, which was the construction of a personal lightsaber. Chapter 3, Constructing the Lightsaber. After Izuku, Lily and Croc had completed the gathering, they were introduced to Hyang, the droid who has assisted many Jedi for 1,000 years in constructing their lightsabers. Balin. Alright younglings, those of you who didn't pass pay attention, so when it's your turn. I present to you Jedi Architect Hyang. As a droid had appeared walking into view of the younglings, they weren't sure what to expect. Hyang. Master Marak, how many have passed the gathering? Balin. 3 out of 8. Hyang. 3 out of 8. Do you wish for the others to observe how this process goes, so they understand what to do when they're ready? Balin. Yes. Hyang. Very well. My name is Hyang Im, a Mark IV Architect droid Im, the one who's taught every Jedi to create their lightsabers. I will continue to do so forevermore. Hyang had stopped and saw Croc and Izuku. It caught his interest, seeing that a Wookiee is force sensitive, which is rare. Hyang also noticed his heat sensors rise when he was near Izuku. Hyang. A Wookiee, I bet your people are proud of you. Croc roared in agreement, knowing that Wookiees have incredibly low force sensitive rates. Then he approached Izuku as he was curious as to why his heat sensors were rising. Hyang. You young one, what is your name? Izuku. Im Izuku Midoriya. Hyang. Izuku, where are you from? Izuku. Im from Earth. Hyang. Ah yes, Earth, a planet which entered a new era where people evolved and developed powers called quirks. Pray tell friend, what quirk do you have? Izuku. I have a form of pyrokinesis. Hyang. Amazing. Now tell me, what kind of lightsaber do you see yourself wielding? Izuku. I believe that's something only the Force can answer. As the younglings who failed the gathering heard Izuku, they began to laugh, thinking he answered incorrectly. Hyang. Correct, you are young one. Now please place your hands onto mine and close your eyes. Now I want you to concentrate and visualize your lightsaber, the weapon that will help you be strong and protect those who are weak. As Izuku did what Hyang instructed, the Force had revealed what Izuku's lightsaber should be. Hyang. I see, I believe I've got the perfect hilt. This has a similar design too. Master Ram coated has rancor leather to make the design. Now to assemble it, concentrate on each component and let the Force guide you. Izuku was handed all of the electrical components plus the hilt as he meditated while he allowed the Force to assemble the saber. Once he felt everything was in its place, Izuku picked up the saber and looked towards the masters, who nodded in approval to ignite the saber. Izuku then focused and ignited his saber, only to reveal his lightsaber color was unique and a color that had not been seen for generations. It was a shimmering silver. Izuku. Masters, is this color normal? Hyang. Young Izuku, what you possess is a Druin Firegem lightsaber crystal. Izuku. Is that good? Hal. Izuku, this crystal can only be found on Tatooine. It's extremely rare, and to think you found it on Ilum. Once the commotion settled down, Izuku turned off his lightsaber and it was Lily's turn. She had finished. The hilt looked beautiful, delicate but fierce. When she turned it on, she believed that her saber's color would be either green, blue or yellow. What she saw was a shining gold color. Many of the younglings who failed were in awe of the 2 rare lightsabers that were just before their eyes. Lastly came Croc, who had a unique wooden hilt lightsaber. It was as if the Force had brought a sense of remembrance to Croc about his homeworld. Since he had a deep bond to the Force, his saber was green. After these youngling finished this assignment, it was time they returned to Courasant and begin their formal training. Chapter 4 Invasion of Rishi Moon. It had been years and Izuku has grown into a fine young man. He is now age 17 and was promoted to GD Knight after his mission on Rylth. Many of the GD's victories were due to Izuku's visions of future events when he consulted Master Yoda. At first Yoda had told him the visions were not always what they appeared to be then, as Izuku kept predicting many future events that had come to pass. Yoda wanted to look deeper into the matter. Izuku saw a bleak future, one where clones turned on their GD. He asked Master Yoda to head to Kamino, where they investigated only to find a secret order in the clones' programming known as ORDER-66. Thanks to Izuku, he prevented what could have been a major tragedy. Izuku requested that the clones' aging be slowed down and requested the GD Council that any clone who wished to retire were allowed to do so. These requests were acceptable. Though they were clones, they were human as well. At the moment Izuku is currently stationed at the Rishi Moon outpost. He's been there for a few weeks, slowly recovering from the Rylith incident. Izuku is currently asleep when he feels a pair of arms hug him. Izuku quickly turns, then sees Lily, who says to him, "Morning, darling." Izuku opens his eyes and turns to see the one and only Lily, his beautiful fiancée, laying in bed with him. They both woke up and went to the bathroom to brush their teeth and shower. Izuku had the face of a war veteran, while Lily looked like a delicate flower. She was a powerful warrior. After showering they were almost finished getting ready until someone knocked on their door. Knock knock. Izuku? Yes. Heavy. Generals, it's Heavy. I've come to report that there will be an inspection here in a few hours. Izuku? Understood, soldier. We'll meet you and the rest of Domino Squad in 5 minutes. Heavy. Understood, General. Izuku got dressed in his traditional GD tunic, but his was a unique white and black. Over it he wore his war armor. Then grabbed his lightsaber and tossed Lily hers. The first one she made was destroyed during a mission on Rylth, but it was still the same gold color when she ignited it. When Izuku and Lily met up with Domino Squad, they all stood at attention. At ease, soldiers. Izuku was still new at leading, but so far was doing a great job. Some members of Domino Squad wanted to see some action, but were stationed at Rishi Moon outpost just monitoring communications. Lily herself knew he was fit to be a leader. That's why her father accepted his request for her hand in marriage. Fives. Generals, can you tell us what it was like when you saw action? Echo. Yeah, General Midoriya, I heard that because of your visions we were able to push back separatist forces. Also that you and General Sinclair took out a battalion of droids by yourselves. Izuku. There's not much to tell, just that the moment you see action you'll wish you never saw it. Fives. What do you mean? Izuku. On the battlefield you'll never know when it will be your last time seeing your brothers in arms. Then suddenly Izuku had a vision about the Rishi Moon being invaded by commando droids. Heavy. General, you okay? Izuku. Call everyone back into the base, we're going to be invaded. Battle stations, everyone. Heavy. Q-tip, droid bit, return to the command center, we've got company. All Heavy could hear were the sounds of his brothers being killed. The feeling of dread knowing that they won't be coming back. Izuku. Echo, contact the inspectors and tell them that droid are attacking the outpost. Echo. Yes, sir. Once the message was sent, the last 3 members of Domino Squad went to the small armory to get their weapons and prepare to be invaded. Izuku took the squad to the main door and held their position as they saw the sparks of plasma cutters attempting to breach the massive door. When the door finally opened, a small battalion of droids began to open fire. Izuku and Lily were deflecting the blaster fire, protecting their last 3 allies. Heavy was mowing down enemies with his turret. Izuku. Hold the line. As the droids became relentless, Izuku was hoping for a miracle to happen when he heard a gunship begin to fire, taking out a good chunk of droids. Izuku had realized that reinforcements had arrived when the gunship landed. A few squads had begun to flank the droids, making it easier to end this battle. When the battle ended, 2 clones, one ranked captain and the other ranked commander, approached Izuku. Izuku. Captain Rex, Commander Cody, than you for the assist. Rex. General Midoriya, good to see you again. I'm sorry we didn't make it here sooner, we saw 2 dead clones, we'll make sure they get a proper burial. Izuku. Thank you. Cody. General Midoriya, you, General Sinclair and what's left of Domino Squad are relived. General Yoda is waiting to speak to you on a blockade runner that's currently over Rishi Moon. Izuku. Heavy, Echo, Fives and Lily depart on a ship and head to the blockade runner. Izuku closed his eyes for a brief moment when he saw another vision, but this one was like a nightmare. In his vision he saw Katsuki, his father, his uncle Masaru, not to mention his pregnant mother and Aunt Mitsuki. He noticed that the 2 looked like they were due any moment. Next he saw 2 Sith break into his home and slaughter them all. When the vision ended, Izuku saw Master Yoda in front of him, as if he knew what the young man just saw. Lily. Izuku. Yoda. Another vision. Izuku. Yes, Master. Yoda. What of? Izuku. My family being slaughtered by Sith. Yoda. Then home shall you return to? Leave now. Izuku. Thank you master, may I take Lily, 2 other GD and my squad with me? Yoda. Yes. Pal. Don't worry Izuku, me and Galen are coming with you. Galen. Kids, it's good to see you again. Izuku. Masters. Lily. Masters, it's great to see you again. Galen. Likewise Miss Sinclair, or should we call you Mrs. Midoriya? Izuku and Lily blushed, but even after the teasing was over, he did miss being taught under Cal and Galen. After he was promoted tonight, it had been a long time since they worked together. Izuku then addressed Domino Squad. Izuku. Heavy, Echo, Fives, are you 3 ready to depart? Heavy. General, we're with you all the way. Izuku. Then let's get ready to depart. Chapter 5 Home. As Izuku prepared for departure, Master Kestis and Marak were riding in the Rogue Shadow. Izuku was given a GD starfighter, and he also was given an old ship which was fixed up. Lily was his co-pilot. Izuku, Lily and Domino Squad boarded the ship. They all took their positions as Izuku had typed the coordinates to Earth. It would take a few hours, so they set the hyperdrive and put the ship on autopilot. The Rouge Shadow wasn't far behind. The ship carried both Cal and Galen, as the ship was piloted by Juno. They all were doing something to kill time when they suddenly left hyperspace. Izuku disengaged autopilot and began to fly to Japan. Echo. Are we almost there, General? Izuku. Yes, we are. Heavy. What can we expect to see? Izuku. Not much here on Earth. People evolved, letting them gain a form of power. Our technology hasn't developed much from what I remember. Fives. So will people freak out if they see the ships? Izuku. They won't know about the ships since we have the cloaking device. Izuku found the old dumping ground still there. Dagaba Beach was still a mess after all his years gone. Nobody cleaned the place. Perhaps before his departure he'd clean the place and give the people a new beach. As they stepped out, the time was around 9 p.m. Izuku handed some cloaks to Heavy, Fives, Echo and Lily to hide their armor. They began to make the journey to the Midoriya household. After walking for 30 minutes they stood in front of the house with a plaque that read Midoriya. When they walked up to the door, as a sign read, "We're out back celebrating UA Class 2A's completion of finals." Izuku led the group to the backyard. As he opened it, everyone there had stopped to see a group of people wearing cloaks with the hood up. Hisashi walked up to the group and said, "Excuse me, this is private property and a private event. I'm going to have to ask you to please leave." Izuku. I thought you'd be happy to see me, father. Izuku said as he removed his hood only to show his father his face. Hisashi. Izuku. His father said as he grabbed his son's face, hoping this wasn't a dream. It's not a dream, Dad, I'm here. Hisashi began to cry tears of joy, finally being able to embrace his son again after many years. Inko. Izuku. Mitsuki. Izu-chan. As the 2 pregnant women ran and hugged him, he worried they'd forget about their soon-to-be-born children when Izuku shouted, reminding them, "Careful the babies." Inko began to shower Izuku with love. He was embarrassed by this, but happy that he got to hold his mom again. Even though Lily was right there seeing him being embarrassed. Inko. What are you doing back on Earth? Why haven't you messaged us? Where's my soon-to-be daughter-in-law? Izuku. Mom, relax and breath. I'm here to protect you guys. Too, we've been at war with the separatists, so I've had to cut communication. I didn't want them to find you guys. Third, I'd like you to meet Lily Sinclair. As Izuku listed why he came home, everyone noticed a beautiful fair-skinned woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Katsuki. What are you going to protect us from? He comes up to hug Izuku and shook Lily's hand. The 2 brothers reunite. Many of Katsuki's classmates realized that this was GD he had told them about. Izuku. Katsuki, I'm here to prevent your deaths. Inko. What do you mean? Izuku. Ever since I've begun my GD training I've had visions of the future. Thanks to them we've had many victories and fewer casualties. Many were skeptical about being able to tell the future, but one person spoke up and knew he told the truth. He's telling the truth. Everyone turned to look at a girl with violet hair and earphone jack earlobes. Lily was skeptical about the young woman who just vouched for her fiancé. How could she just trust someone they barely met? Before anyone else could ask how she knew if Izuku spoke true, Izuku, Cal, Galen, Lily and the violet-haired girl froze. Izuku. Masters, Lily, do you feel that? You mean the dark negative chill that's in the air? Izuku. Yes, what's your name? Jiru. I'm Kayaka Jiru. Izuku. Be on guard, Jiru. Masters, do you feel the chill? Cal. Yes. Galen. Absolutely. Lily. It's a sinister feeling. When suddenly from the rooftop of the home 3 people had leaped in front of the massive group. I should have known the prophet would have been here. Izuku. Well, Ventress, nice to see you again. Oh, and you've brought lackeys to help you. Ventress. Here, I thought this would be a cakewalk, but now this seems more of a challenge. As the Sith and pulled their lightsabers out and ignited them. Izuku, Lily, Galen and Cal did the same as they silently communicated who would be taking who. Izuku. Heavy, Echo and Fives keep everyone safe. Heavy Echo Fives. Yes General. Chapter 6 Invasion. As the 4 Jedi and 3 Sith had their lightsabers ignited, they were all waiting to see who would rush first. It was none other than Ventress. She had rushed Galen. As the two were locked in battle, the bulky Sith rushed Cal, while Izuku and Lily dealt with the other female. Izuku Lily. As Izuku, Lily and the Sith had their sabers locked, he asked, "Who are you, and why are you here?" She kicked him in the gut, then responded to his question. "I am the Seventh Sister. The Dark Lord has sent us to eliminate your family." Their battle continued as Izuku held his own as he used various forms to throw her off balance. As this happened, Lily would do the same, trying to find any sort of opening. While this was going on, the clones who were holding some energy shields to protect everyone behind them, these shields were concealed easily. When one young man with blonde hair with a lightning bolt design said, "Look at the Jedi Masters go." Fives. Sorry to burst your bubble, but General Midoriya and General Sinclair aren't master yet. Itsuki. How aren't they masters yet? Echo. From what they told us, only the council can decide that, but they are a rank below master. As they looked at the fight closely, Izuku and Lily were pushing the Sith back. Galen. As Galen was parrying and striking against Ventress, sparks flew and the two were locked in combat. Galen used force judgment on her as lightning shot from his fingertips. Ventress was blocking. He noticed she pushed a button on her wrist communicator. Hal. Hal was having a tough time with the big guy, but due to his smaller build, it helped him evade and parry many of the strikes used against him. Why were you sent? As Cal and the Inquisitor continued to clash, he responded, "The Dark Lord wants revenge on your prophet for ruining his plans." Suddenly a ship was hovering over the Midoriya household, which led the Sith to retreat quickly. Izuku was pressuring the Sith. He wouldn't allow them to escape. The Night Sister, which Izuku and Lily fought, had kicked Lily aside and activated the second side of her lightsaber, almost slashing Lily in half, but Izuku intervened and pushed her aside, which led to cutting Izuku's arm off. Izuku yelled in pain as his arm was cut off. But that hurts. Izuku's family were worried, but Cal rushed towards him and injected a healing stim into Izuku's arm. Cal. How's that feel, Izuku? Izuku. A bit better. Damn, now I need a prosthetic. As Cal was patching up Izuku, the two heard Ventress yell from her ship's loading ramp, "We left a present for you." As the Jedi were confused on what she meant, everyone heard Jiru shout something. Jiru. I hear something. Silence fell upon everyone as the 4 Jedi listened closely. Everyone soon heard a massive sound of metal footsteps. Heavy. We've got clankers. Izuku grabbed a communicator from his belt and spoke. BD2, do you copy? As beeping was heard in response, Izuku gave a command. BD2 detach from the ship and fly over the city, providing air support for any who need it. Make sure you use droid poppers. As Izuku got up, he saw where his lightsaber was and used the force to pull it towards him. Once he clipped it to his belt, he began to give orders. Izuku. Kaken, I need you to let everyone here to UA make sure they're safe. Take Master Cal with you. As for Domino Squad, we'll be eliminating any and all clankers assisting civilians and sending them to UA. Galen, contact the Jedi Council and see if we can get any reinforcements. Galen. Understood. Izuku. Sorry if I'm shouting orders. Cal. It's all good, this is your home, your mission to lead. Izuku. Thank you Cal, please protect my mother and aunt. May the force be with you. Cal had Bakugo lead the group to UA, with the expecting mothers in the center being protected at all costs. Galen left to his ship in order to contact the council, while Izuku, Heavy, Fives and Echo went to the streets to eliminate the clankers. With Cal and Bakugo, the big group had left the Midoriya home and took a safe route until they reached a crossroads where they were ambushed by battle droids. Cal stepped forward and split his lightsaber into two, allowing him to deflect blaster fire with two sabers. A female UA student was about to use her quirk to make something to help them when a large shadow had covered them while it dropped something. Cal. That's Izuku's personal Jedi starfighter. The group was in awe of the ship, then Cal noticed the droids that surrounded them were now deactivated. Chapter 7 Holding Out. All groups had gone their separate ways. Galen went back to the Rouge Shadow to contact the Jedi Temple to request reinforcements. Izuku, Lily and Domino Squad. Heavy. General, can you use your lightsaber with only one arm? Izuku. Of course I can, I've trained hard to overcome any obstacle. Echo. How did you create a lightsaber form that's different than the ones you're usually taught to use? Izuku. No, it's because one must adapt to any situation. I broke my arm during a crash landing and I had to improvise. With Cal and Bakugo, the big group has decided to take a back alley route in order to avoid any massive amounts of droids. Itsuki. Master Kestis. Cal. What's up, kid? Itsuki. Why were those bastards with red lightsabers trying to kill us? Cal. They said they wanted revenge on Izuku for ruining their master's plans. Before Katsuki could ask what plans Izuku ruined, they saw two people being cornered by a large group of droids. Cal wasted no time as his lightsaber split into two and began to hack and slash droids. The two who were cornered turned out to be Kamui Woods, Mount Lady and a group of innocent people. Go to UA and lead the civilians there. With Galen. Galen arrived at the Rouge Shadow as Juno had wondered what was taking so long when she saw Galen run into the ship like a madman. Juno. What's going on? Galen. A separatist invasion, that's what's going on. 3 Siths tried to kill Izuku's family and there's possibly a battalion of droids on Earth right now. I'm going to reach the council for assistance. Transmission to council. Galen. Hello GD Council, this is Master Marek, do you copy? Base. This is Master Windu, what's the emergency Galen? Galen. Earth is being overrun by Sith and separatists, we require assistance. Base. We can't spare many GD to assist, we have sent half our forces to Kamino. Galen. Why what happened? Base. The temple was sacked by Sith. Galen. How many? Base. Hundreds. Galen. If the temple is lost, whatever GD remain at the temple with you, scramble your ship signatures and make your way to Earth until we can re-establish the order. Base. Very well, I'll send what few GD and clone squads available. Incoming transmission. Grigor. This is Commando Grigor, sorry to intrude in this transmission, we picked up the signal and thought it was a distress call. Base. Commando Grigor, how close are you to Master Marek's position? Grigor. We're near the solar system, my commando squad and I are ready to deploy. We also assisted a GD and her partner who are with us. Base. Then Commando, please deploy and make your way to Earth. Transmission end. Galen. Juno, stay here and. Juno. No, the people need help, I'm not sitting on the sidelines anymore. She said as she was locked and loaded with a blaster rifle and blaster pistol. The two then left as they blasted through hordes of droids. While using the sword and shield strategy, they then noticed a man clad in white armor as he moved at great speeds in order to decimate the droids. Galen. Who are you? Ingenium. Impro Hero Ingenium. What's a GD doing on Earth? Juno. We'll discuss that later, but for now make sure the innocent get to UA. The two men agreed as the situation seemed to be getting worse. Back with Izuku, Lily and Domino Squad. The group of 5 were destroying droids while saving civilians and pointing them in the direction of UA. Izuku knew at the rate they were fighting they could easily dispatch the droids. It wasn't until the 5 heard a clunk. Heavy. I'm out of ammo, General. Izuku performed a saber throw which decapitated many droids, giving him a chance to pull a couple blasters toward him with the force. Izuku. More ammo for you guys. Suddenly blaster fire began to rain from the sky, reinforcements have arrived. As Izuku and Domino Squad looked up, they saw Commando clones and 2 GD drop from a ship. Izuku saw Commando Grigor along with Delta Squad, who consisted of Boss, Fixer, Scorch Sev. He also saw GD Master Claire Vizsla and her former Padawan Angela. Now they finally had help to push separatist forces back. Chapter 8 UA. When Izuku, Lily, Domino Squad got 2 more GD and a squad of Commando clones to assist, things had gotten easier as all of the droids began to fall. Upon the completion of the task at hand, Izuku contacted Master Cal and got the coordinates for the location. When they arrived, there was a battalion of droids marching their way to the school gates. Izuku and his party had flanked them from behind, allowing to cut down numbers quickly. When they all finally had a moment to breathe, Izuku turned to Claire and bowed. Izuku. Master Vizsla, it's a pleasure to see you again. Claire. Likewise Izuku, I'm glad you and Lily seem to still be together. Lily. We're engaged now. Claire. Well, congratulations are in order. When they approached UA and walked through the gate, Cal, Juno and Galen rushed Izuku, hoping he was okay. All 3 of their ships were there, and from the Rouge Shadow came a medical droid who was able to give Izuku a robot arm. The pain was intense, but everything from the forearm down was attached to Izuku's missing right arm. As he was getting operated, Lily held his left hand as she gave him a loving yet worried smile. His parents rushed to him. Hisashi. Are you okay? Izuku. Yeah, I'm okay, just tired. Before anyone could say anything, they all heard what in the world is going on here. A teacher with long black messy hair saw his students with soldiers and civilians. Itsuki. Mr. Izawa, we're being invaded. Izawa. By who? Izuku. Them, sir. Fives. Men, we've got a battalion on our hands. If we die today, it's been an honor to serve with you all. The clones all nodded. Then Commando Grigor spoke up, hoping to see what the GD will do. General Midoriya, what is our next move? Izuku. We stand and fight, protect all civilians and lead any you find here. Grigor, I want you with Domino Squad to defend the gate. Delta Squad, I want you to keep an eye out for any civilians and make sure you provide cover fire for them. Long-range quirk users, please lend me a hand. The students from UA agreed to assist in the defense of their home. Izuku then pointed to Izawa. Does this place have a defense system in case of intruders? Izawa nodded, then ran to where the security system to activate it in manual position so Domino Squad can have the turret guns under control. Suddenly Mitsuki and Inko felt sharp pain simultaneously as they said, "Uh-oh." Izuku looked and saw both of them had puddles of water under them. "But come with me, you two." Izuku led both Inko and Mitsuki into the Ebon Hawk with a medical droid who was going to help them deliver the babies. When Izuku left, he engaged the defense system on the ship to make sure nobody gets in. Izuku then pulled his lightsaber to prepare for war when a miracle happened on their communicators. They heard, "This is Captain Rex. General Midoriya, you've got 3 battalions worth of reinforcements." The Republic gunships had arrived and they were dropping droid poppers to short-circuit them out. When they landed, multiple GD masters had walked out as they began to tell their clone squads to keep the civilians safe. Izuku, Cal, Galen, Lil Angela and Claire had bowed and showed respect to the masters who had stood before them: Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, Kit Fisto. Izuku: "Masters, thank you for coming to our aid." Mace: "Young Midoriya and Sinclair, you've done well in keeping the people safe. We'll take it from here." Izuku's communicator goes off. "General Izuku, the children have been born with no defects." Izuku was happy there were no complications. He disengaged the ship's defenses, grabbed Lily's hand while speed walking to the medical bay, followed by Katsuki, Masaru and Hisashi. "But the masters?" Yoda: "Strong has young Midoriya and Sinclair grown? What say you, masters?" Kestis and Marek. Hal Galen: "I believe they are ready." Obi-Wan: "I have fought by their side before. If possible, I say they're more than ready." Mace: "Master Jin, what about you?" Qui-Gon: "The two have the most noblest of hearts and refuse to abandon anyone." The masters nodded. They then saw Izuku with Lily next to him as he was holding a little girl in his arms as his mother and aunt were being brought out on floating medical beds. He then returned his baby sibling to his mother. Katsuki was also holding his new baby sister. He then turned to Izuku, hoping his brother wouldn't leave after this invasion ended. Katsuki: "Are you two leaving after all this is done?" Izuku: "I don't know. The masters will inform me of any decision." Lily: "I'd really like to stay a bit longer so I can properly meet my in-laws." The masters approached Izuku with Cal and Galen leading the group. Izuku knew his time home was up and had to say goodbye again. Mace: "Izuku, Midoriya and Lily Sinclair, kneel before us." Izuku and Lily did as they were told as Cal and Galen activated their lightsabers. Katsuki was about to stop them but was held back by Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn, who told him they are being granted the rank of master. Hal Galen: "Izuku, Midoriya, Lily Sinclair, by right of the council, by way of the force, you mere eyes." Yoda: "Master Midoriya, Master Sinclair, welcome." Izuku and Lily thought it was a dream. They were just given the rank of master. He looked to Cal and Galen. They both nodded, both giving him confirmation that they're new masters. Yoda: "Assignment have I for both you." Izuku: "What is it, Master Yoda?" Yoda: "Temple there is here, search for. Must you establish GD order?" Izuku: "Yes, master, I promise I'll find it." Yoda: "Before that, clear city we must." Izuku: "Right, let me get ready." Mace: "No, you've earned some well-deserved rest. We'll handle the droids in the way here. We had mapped out this region. We'll clear this in not time." Izuku: "Thank you, masters." As the other masters and clones headed off to rid Japan of droids, Izuku and Lily stayed back to catch up with his family, along with Domino Squad. Inko and Mitsuki have been given stims to restore their energy. Inko: "Izuku, what made you become the man you are now?" Izuku: "It was the Battle of Rylith." Chapter 9: Rylith's story. Inko: "What made you become the man you are now?" Izuku heavily sighed, knowing this would be a bit difficult to tell, but he would eventually have to move on. Izuku: "Well, before the story, I'd like you to meet your daughter-in-law." Izuku: "This is Lily Sinclair, Midoriya. She's my best friend, my lover and soon to be my wife." Katsuki: "It's nice to meet you, Lily." Lily: "Likewise, Katsuki, it's an honor to meet you all." Izuku: "The reason I'm the way I am is due to the Rylith mission." Flashback: Izuku Pav: "Everything was going well. I've gotten permission from Lily's father to marry her. Now we just have to win this war." Intercom: "General Midoriya, you're wanted on the deck." I was broken out of my thoughts when I was summoned. It turned out that I was being sent alone to aid the people of Rylith. My personal GD starfighter was loaded with supplies like medicine, food and water. Since my ship was one of the fastest and had a cloaking adhesive, I was the only hope to breach the blockade. When I departed for my mission, I activated the cloaking device on my ship to easily slip past the blockade. Upon doing so, I got a transmission from Lily. Transmission: "Lily. Izu, glad to know a familiar face will be assisting me and Master Gundy. How much longer until you're here?" Izuku: Not much longer, I'll see you soon, okay? Lily. Alright, love you. Transmission end. When I finally landed on Rylith where its people had been waiting for supplies, I was greeted with cheers of joy and praise. People told me I answered their prayers before the people could continue to praise me. I met up with Master Magundai and Lily, my fiancée at this time. Nobody knew that we were involved, so we did our best to act professional. During this meeting we ran through the plan to keep the Twi'lek refugees moving to safer areas. When the meeting was over I headed to my ship where Lily waited. Once inside we kissed and talked about how everything was going. When the time came the Twi'lek began to move out. Several weeks later. As days turned to weeks, food and medical supplies had run out again. The Twi'lek were beginning to doubt that the Republic could keep them safe. We had decided it was time to make a final stand. Magundai. We must make our final stand to give the Twi'lek a chance to escape. As a battalion of droids approached the small squadron of clones and 3 GD, we stood our ground when Master Magundai signaled for the attack to begin. Things went from bad to worse. I saw my clone brethren fall, men who I shared meals and drinks with, gone before my eyes. Suddenly the droids began to send droidekas to the front line to prevent us from destroying the battle droids and super battle droids. Droideka. As the droid army used this tactic they began to advance forward, eliminating all the clone soldiers and separating us. I knew this would happen, but I didn't want to believe the possibility of it coming true. The first to die was Master Magundai. After he was killed, Lily and I remained. Then we heard about the ships breaking through the blockade that was set up. This gave us hope. Lily was swarmed, we were being separated. That was when we had to use Sith Seeker. This technique was taught to me by Master Marek, then I taught her, but only to use this as a last resort. The Sith Seeker technique is a combination of lightning force and pushing the boundaries of the kinetic force. Pushed this attack, disintegrated everything within my range. When I got to Lily I held her tightly, hoping I would never lose her. Flashback end. Izuku. That's how that happened. After Rylith was liberated we were knighted, then sent on multiple other missions, then lastly both of us ended up stationed at Rishi Moon, together with Domino Squad. Izuku and Lily looked all around and saw Katsuki and his classmates all have a few tears due to the deaths of soldiers. Katsuki. So that's a lightsaber? Katsuki asked as he pointed at the lightsaber hilts which hung from their waists. Izuku. Yeah, it is. As you witnessed, C can cut through limbs. Inko. Lily, thank you for making my son happy. Lily. It's no big deal. He's the one who captured my heart. Izuku. We can tell you the story on how we got engaged. They nodded in agreement when gunships arrived and the masters walked out. Izuku. Masters, how is the city? Base. The city is clear, we shall spread out and see if any other areas were invaded tomorrow. Izuku. Great, shall we rest for tonight? Before that I'd like to know what's been going on. The masters, clones, students and civilians had turned and looked to see. Chapter 10. Previously. Base. The city is clear, we shall spread out and see if any other areas were invaded tomorrow. Izuku. Great, shall we rest for tonight? Before that I'd like to know what's been going on. The masters, clones, students and civilians had turned and looked to see. Chapter 10 start. The GD masters, clones, students and civilians had turned to see 2 figures walk toward them. They were a giant man with blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, the other looked like a white mouse, bear, dog creature. Mace. Who are you, if you don't mind me asking? I'm All Might #1 hero, and this is Headmaster Nezu, the one in charge of this school. Mace. I am GD Master Mace Windu. We are here because the GD temple was sacked and this planet was invaded by the Empire. Nezu. So you've come to aid us? If I recall, the GD don't have any connection to Earth. Izuku. I do, sir. Izuku said as he approached All Might and Nezu. He greeted the two with a bow. I had a vision and it came true, so with permission from my masters, I traveled here to prevent the death of my parents and brother. Nezu. I see, then why are there soldiers here? Izuku. I called for reinforcements to assist in evacuations of the public should they have gotten caught in the crossfire. Nezu. I see, well, if possible, who's the highest ranking GD in your order? Yoda. Would be I, that CQ. Nezu. Please allow us to discuss accommodations for all of you. Yoda. Agreed, do I. As Nezu and Yoda left to discuss matters, the rest of the masters and the clones went to rest in their ships. Izuku. Well, since they'll discuss what's going to happen next, how about we catch up in my ship? I'll tell you how Lily and I got engaged. Izuku says as he led his family into the ship. Heavy, Echo and Fives were going to wait outside. Izuku. Heavy, Echo, Fives, you guys coming? Heavy. Wasn't this story meant for only family? Lily. You're all family now, come on. As everyone settled into the ship, Izuku grabbed some water and passed it to everyone. Lily. So before we tell you how we got engaged, you must know that the GD at one point had forbidden any form of relationship. Katsuki. If relationships were forbidden, then how'd you guys get engaged? Izuku. Funny story about that, it actually started off as a misunderstanding due to language barrier. Everyone. What? Izuku. Yeah, when I met Lily's father I asked for permission to date her, but completely forgot about cultural barrier. He then thought I was asking for her hand in marriage. Lily. When explained to Izuku what he had done, he was a bit scared at first. Izuku. Okay, I was scared, but then I realized how much I truly loved Lily, so I fought her father. After the fight he acknowledged me as a worthy man to have his daughter. They also gave me Mandalorian armor. Hisashi. Wow, that's one crazy way to get engaged. The others couldn't find the right words to express how they felt about the engagement method, but accepted her even after knowing how unique her family customs were. Communicator. Yoda. Master Midoriya, Master Sinclair outside meet us. Communication end. Izuku and everyone in his ship were outside. They were met with the other masters and Nezu, the school's headmaster of the school. Nezu. Master Midoriya and Master Sinclair, we've come to a decision and we will house all GD soldiers here if you all choose to become heroes. You must also enroll into UA Academy and will be in the same class as Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku and Lily looked at Master Yoda, who gave him a nod, saying he agreed to the terms. Izuku. Count us in, sir. I have a mission of searching for a GD temple that could possibly be here. Nezu. Your master told me of this mission. It's quite a challenge, but you'll have time to search since classes for this semester are over. I'll also need to give both of you an IQ test so that we can determine where your education levels are at. Izuku, Lily and other present GD bowed, then shook Nezu's paw in agreement with the terms that were agreed upon. Chapter 11. When all was said and done, every GD and clone who arrived on Earth were welcomed with open arms. Izuku, Lily and Domino Squad were about to sleep on the ship until Katsuki invited them to the dorms. Katsuki. Izuku, you and your squad can stay in the dorms with us. Izuku. You sure? Katsuki. Yeah, we can accommodate you guys, no problem. Izuku looked around and saw his brother's classmates agree. He went inside his ship and grabbed 4 bedrolls for him and his squad while he and Lily would share. Inko, Mitsuki, Hisashi and Masaru were allowed to sleep at UA's infirmary after both mothers gave birth. Izuku. Alright, we're ready, let's head to the dorms. Katsuki. Yeah, maybe you could tell us more war stories. Izuku. Sure. Lily. We've got plenty to share. When they arrived at the dorms, Izuku, Heavy, Echo and Five set up their bedrolls in the common area. A young man who had a wide build and spiky hair. Sato. Excuse me, my name is Rikito Sato, you're Bakugo's brother, right? Izuku. Not blood related, but yeah. Nice to meet you, Sato, how can I help you? Sato. If you and your group are hungry, would you like me to make something? Izuku turned to his men. Are you all hungry? Yes we are, sir, if it's not too much trouble may we have something light to eat? Sato. Of course, I'll make a quick meal. He left to the kitchen, then Izuku and his men continued to set up their sleeping area. Once done, Heavy asked, General, will we be patrolling the area as well? Izuku. No, the other masters have decided that they will handle the patrolling along with some pro heroes. Heavy. May we remove our helmets? Izuku. Of course. Many were surprised to see the soldiers looking very similar until a retarded teen asked, are you all triplets? Echo chuckled. Echo. No, we're clones. Bakugo. Wait, you guys have clones? Izuku. Yeah, the clones were made to assist us in fighting against the separatists, but now we have to fight the Empire. Bakugo. So they're expendable. Heavy. We were before, but if it wasn't for General Midoriya we wouldn't have freedom. Thanks to the general, he made it possible for us to be able to retire and live our own lives. Before the conversation could go any further, Sato came back with 5 plates of curry and rice. Izuku and his squad had simultaneously said, thank you for the meal. As they ate, the students looked eager to ask questions. Izuku. Are you expecting stories now? Katsuki was glaring at his class as they sheepishly nodded, which made Izuku chuckle. Heavy. General, to be honest, we'd like to hear some stories as well. Katsuki. Wait, your clones, haven't you guys seen plenty of action? Echo. Well, to be honest, this is our second official battle. Sato. Second official battle. So you guys are new. Fives. We're known as shinies since our armor is very white. Then a kid with purple balls for hair had the nerve to badmouth the soldiers. You guys don't have any experience with war, then doesn't that mean you gotta take orders from us? You also follow a man who lost his arm and was named a master. Listen, Blondie, how about you leave this loser and sleep with a real man like me? As everyone looked down to see the purple midget had a smug look on his face. Katsuki. Listen here, you bucking midget, that's my brother and sister-in-law. Before Katsuki could tear a new one into the midget, Izuku stopped him and calmed him down. Izuku. You have disrespected my men, my fiancé and my name. I invoke the code to seek justice through single combat. Then Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Mace Windu along with Eraserhead and Nezu walked into the dorms when they heard Izuku announce this. When the adults entered, Mace asked. Mace? Who was the one who disrespected him? All of Class 1 pointed to the midget throwing him to the wolves while the smug look was slowly vanishing. Mace. Principal Nezu, you may wish to find a replacement for this student. Nezu. Why might I ask? Izuku. I hail from the Sinclair Mandalorian clan through my fiancé, which means I can invoke clan laws. In order for my honor to be restored we must fight through single combat. The purple midget was shaking in fear and tried to run away but was tapped up by a young man with large elbows. Take your punishment like a man. Lily. A coward who can't take his punishment isn't a man but a child. They all went outside to witness the single combat. Izuku had gone into his ship and changed into Mandalorian armor to prepare himself. Itsuki. Whoa bro, that armor looks amazing. Izuku. Thank you, it was a gift from the Sinclair family after beating Lily's father in order to marry her. Lily. Kitsuki, this is the unique armor of the Sinclair clan. Since you're family now I can probably get you armor too. Kitsuki. Really? That would be awesome sis. Before the trial combat could begin a few Sith began to invade the party. Maul. Well Oberyn, it seems we meet again. Boy, thank you for betraying your allies. Mineta. You're welcome, now save me, I can't wait for the reward I was promised. Maul. Ah yes, I remember now, I hate traitors the most. Maul said as he threw his saber at Mineta, cutting his head off instantly. Chapter 12. After Darth Maul decapitated the purple-haired midget, the other students were in shock as they never had to deal with a dead body before some even threw up from the sight, blood oozing out. Maul. Now where were we? Ah yes, we're going to kill the Prophet Jedi Knight Midoriya. Izuku. Actually Maul, it's Master Midoriya now. Izuku said as he removed his helmet and ignited his lightsabers. Care for some assistance, Master Midoriya. Obi-Wan said as both he and Qui-Gon had removed their cloaks and prepared for battle. Izuku. Lily, take Master Yoda and Master Windu, make sure nobody else has infiltrated the school. Lily. Okay, be safe. Masters, let's go. Izawa. Let me lead you so you won't get lost. Once Lily and the other masters left, things got tense and neither side made a move yet until Savage had charged at Qui-Gon. That's when they knew who would fight who. Maul seemed to have agreed against Obi-Wan and Izuku was left to fight the young Dark Jedi. She wasn't any match for a master. As they all clashed lightsabers, many of the UA students were watching Kitsuki and some of the others began to formulate a plan of capturing them, hoping to gain any bit of info as to why they've begun to invade. Maul and his brother were being pushed back. They decided to make a retreat. Meanwhile, their apprentice was overwhelmed by Izuku. She couldn't find her own escape route. Masters, save me. Maul. You are dead, wait, fend for yourself. Maul and Savage had then jumped into a ship they called for pickup, abandoning the young Dark Jedi. As clones, Jedi masters and heroes had surrounded the Sith. She stood her ground, wondering how many she'd be able to take down on her own. Kitsuki. AP machine gun. Multiple mini-explosion bullets were shot at the young Sith's back, catching her off guard. Then she felt a constricted feeling on her torso. The Sith blacked out after getting an engine-boosted kick to the head. Izuku. I need some binders. It had been a good thing that the Republic had taken and improved the design of Geonosian binders. These made it easy to restrain force wielders, like in the case of Barisafi, who was captured by Izuku before she could stage a bombing at the Jedi Temple, which ultimately led to her downfall. Izuku quickly put the binders on the unconscious Sith and turned to Kitsuki, thanks for the assist. Moments later, Lily, Yoda, Mace and Izawa came back to see a Sith captured. Mace. Is there a containment area for troublesome people on these grounds? Izawa. Yes there is, grab her and I'll escort you there. Yoda. Well done Master Midoriya. Leave I shall to rest. Lily. Mom, Dad, Uncle, Auntie and the babies were okay, we did a thorough sweep. Everyone had returned to their areas hoping to get any form of rest since the planet's been invaded before rest could be taken. Izuku and a member of Tua had heard a bit of an argument. Clone. Where are you going with that droid, little lady? I'm going to make something incredible out of it, so may I please take it? Clone. Sorry, these droids are going to be destroyed. Izuku. What's the commotion over here? Clone. General Midoriya, General Sinclair, this person is trying to take some of these droids. Kitsuki. Hatsune, what are you doing? May. They won't let me take any of these robots. I had a great idea to make some incredible babies. Rex. What's the issue over here? Captain Rex and General Kenobi had walked over to see what the issue was. Clone. General, this girl said she wanted to take the droids and make them better. Rex. Is this true? May. Yes, but I can make them into a massive asset for you. Rex. Well, let me hear this idea then. May. With 2 droids I can make one a combat droid who will have a laser sword like the GD, on top of that he'll have an arsenal of weapons, and he could also resupply troops with ammo. Rex. Interesting. Okay, what about the second one? May. He will be the best combat medical droid. He'll carry lots of medical supplies and have a force field shields so he could deploy cover when there's nothing to hide behind. Rex. Let her take 2 under the condition that you use this memory chip on the combat droid. May. Is there something special about the chip? Obi-Wan. This contains the data of a droid we called Bats. He was our inside droid, gathered data for us, which made infiltration missions easy. May. Okay, I'll make sure to use it now. All I need is a laser sword. Fisto. I can help with that. Izuku. Hello Master Fisto, are you sure? Fisto. Hello to you as well, Izuku. Yes, I'm sure, young lady, please use this lightsaber. May. Who did this belong to? Fisto. It belonged to my old apprentice, but he was killed in action due to his arrogance. May. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for allowing me to use this. She invited Captain Rex and Obi-Wan to oversee the construction of said droids, and when she was finally done with Bats, she made her announcement. May I present Bats 2.0? Rex. Bats, do you recognize me? Bats. Captain, where am I? I must report my findings. Of the Sith Lord is the Chancellor. Safe to say Obi-Wan and Rex were shocked at this new intelligence they've received. They quickly contacted the other masters to meet. Rex. We need Bats. May we take him now? May. Sure. Oh, don't worry about him getting destroyed in battle. I have nanobits put into him, so if he gets sliced in half, he'll repair himself. The medical droid will be ready tomorrow for presentation. Obi-Wan. Thank you again, miss. Now Captain, let's hurry. Chapter 13. Obi-Wan and Captain Rex had just learned from their old companion Bats, the battle droid, that Chancellor Palpatine was the Sith Lord that they had been searching for. Obi-Wan had called for a meeting of all masters so he can inform them of the disturbing news. When all masters gathered, Obi-Wan was about to drop the bombshell on them. Obi-Wan. Everyone, Bats, our droid friend, has valuable information. Bats. It appears the Chancellor Palpatine is the Sith Lord. Izuku. If he's the Sith Lord, doesn't that mean he's been funding both sides of the war? Yoda. Troubling news this is. Lily. Masters, what shall we do? Before the other masters could discuss any plan of action, an alarm went off in their area, which alerted them of incoming ships as a clone interrupted the meeting. Clone. Generals, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's an incoming ship. All GD masters rushed and began to scramble the troops in order to protect Earth, as they had been welcomed to Earth. When the satellites locked onto the ship, Lily recognized who it belonged to. Lily. Father. The other masters looked toward her and heard her say father. They all rushed and saw the ship crash land in the Quad of UA, but as they tried to save Lily's father out of the crashed ship. Once they pulled him out, the man's vision went clear and blurry as he saw people running toward him. When they got close, he recognized his daughter and son-in-law. After quickly getting him out of his damaged ship, Izuku spotted something. Izuku. Lily, look what's in your father's hand. As she looked at what Izuku meant, she saw the Darksaber. If memory served correctly, the current Mandalorian family who was in power was Clan Vizsla, so something must have happened. Lily's father was taken to the school medbay. Izuku took the Darksaber and held onto it for now, so his father-in-law wouldn't start slashing at anything when he'd wake up. Izuku waited outside with the other masters as sensors showed multiple ships arriving at their location. When they began landing, Izuku recognized the transport ships as more Mandalorians were walking onto the new planet. They began to ask about the new leader who hailed from the Sinclair family. As the other members of the Sinclair clan asked about new leadership, Izuku cleared up any misunderstandings that he was not the leader, but took it so that his father-in-law didn't slash anything when he woke up in a daze. Nurse's office. Lily was there waiting for her father to regain consciousness. Is he going to be okay? She turned around and forgot her in-laws were still there. My father will be fine, thank you for asking, mother. Hisashi. What's your father's name? Pandra Sinclair, at your service. Lily. Father, you're awake. Pandras. Don't worry about me. Where are we anyway? Inko. Welcome to Earth, Candras. My name is Inko and that's my husband Hisashi. We're the Midoriyas. Pandras. I see you're the parents of Izuku. It's an honor to meet the both of you. Wait, the Darksaber, where is it? Izuku. I have it here, father. I didn't want anyone hurt if you woke up dazed and confused. Pandras had calmed down knowing that the Darksaber was in safe hands. Izuku. What happened, father? Pandras. Everything was going well, but we all had an uneasy feeling until those Sith showed up and started slaughtering many of the Mandalorian clans. Izuku. What about Duchess Satine? Did she make it out? Pandras. Yes, she should arrived about now. Izuku. I'll make sure to receive her properly when I step outside. Pandras. I'd like you to keep the Darksaber safe, my boy. Izuku. Of course. How did you get the Darksaber? I thought House Vizsla had it in their possession. Pandorus. As many clans gathered to fight off the enemy, House Vizsla had asked House Sinclair to fall back and protect the sword from getting into the wrong hands. After we left the homeworld we came across a Republic freight cruiser and we asked them what was happening. So after getting help we got caught in a firefight, but just before dying we made the jump to these coordinates. Izuku. I see. Well, father, rest up, regain your strength, our people will need you. Pandorus. You're right. Before they could speak more, a baby's cries were heard. Izuku walked to where his sister was and carried her, hoping to calm her down and get her to sleep again. Pandorus. Have I become a grandfather? Lily. Sorry father, not yet. This is Izuku's baby sister. Pandorus had a faint smile and remembered how small his little girl was when she was born. RGE. Well, Mr. Sinclair, you're free to go. Pandorus. I'll head out and calm my people. Izuku, can you and Lily look for Duchess Atene? Izuku. We're on it. As Izuku and Lily left the infirmary to search for Duchess Atene, it was until they spotted her with Obi-Wan. Izuku and Lily took cover near them to overhear their conversation. With Obi-Wan and Satine. Satine. Oh Ben, I'm relieved to see you are alive and well. Obi-Wan. I can say the same, love. Truth be told, I feared I lost you. Izuku. Hello there. Izuku said as Lily held his hand as the two approached Obi-Wan and Satine, who seemed surprised and quickly departed from each other's arms. While the couple had bright blushes. Izuku. Will Ben care to tell me what's going on? Izuku said with a smirk, seeing Obi-Wan flustered that he and his lover were caught. Obi-Wan had begun to tell Izuku and Lily how he had fallen in love with Satine. Izuku and Lily had an understanding of their past. The newly appointed masters were glad Obi-Wan had someone he loved. Izuku. Master Kenobi, you can be open about your relationship now, there's no rule against it. Plus if you get citizenship here in Japan your first name will be Ben and family name be Kenobi. Lily. Well, Mrs. Kenobi, do you like that idea? Lily said in a teasing tone. Upon seeing their bright blushing faces, Izuku and Lily shared a laugh. Chapter 14 Contact. After the Mandalorians had arrived in Japan, tensions began to rise since Mandalorians had an issue with clones. Izuku and Lily had gotten fed up with the situation and shut the Mandalorians up because they need all the help if they're going to fight an empire. After dealing with that issue, the next problem was the fact that there was no communication between Earth and Kamino. They need to build a few long-range receivers. When suddenly on the radar a large blip was shown on the sensors. Izuku. Any and all available pilots mount up, we've got to prevent an impending invasion. All Mandalorians who brought their starfighters had hopped into them, while the new and improved turrets UA had were mounted by clone troopers who had been battle-ready. Support Corps student Mei Hatsum had activated a shield generator after studying some of the Republic's technology. On Izuku and the small fleet of fighters, they had seen a Republic frigate ship which appeared to have been searching for something. Izuku. This is GD Master Izuku Midoriya, state your name and business. If you don't you'll be shot down. Green, is that you? There was only one person who ever called him that, and it was his friend Ahsoka Tano. Izuku. Ahsoka, is that you? Ahsoka. You got it, Green. Izuku. What are you doing on this side of the galaxy? Ahsoka. The other masters and myself were able to get the coordinates after the transmission was sent out, but we were too busy trying to get everyone situated to send someone with a long-range receiver. Izuku and other Mandalorian warriors had given Ahsoka a private escort down to Earth. Upon landing, Ahsoka had walked out of the cruiser. Lily was surprised when she saw her old friend. They quickly shared a hug. Lily. Ahsoka, what's going on? What's been happening since the GD temple was sacked by Sith? Ahsoka's expression had become one of frustration and sorrow. Ahsoka. Where do I start? When the temple fell, some GD stayed behind to buy us time to flee from there, but they've most likely been killed. We're also working on moving the cloning facility closer to this world. We've lost thousands of clones since the Sith destroyed the clone medical ship. Everyone around them had gathered to hear the news of what has happened. Izuku. Is there a way we can get in touch with Kamino, so maybe there's a way to bring the entire cloning facility to Earth? Ahsoka. Well, Green, you're in luck. The other part of my mission was to bring this transmission amplifier. Lily. This is perfect. Now we can try and contact anyone beyond the system, just as long as you were placing others along the way. Ahsoka. That's why I'm here. The long-distance transmitters are only active when trying to communicate with the others on Kamino. Izuku. Kitsuki, can you get Hatsum to help with this? Mei. I'm already on it, Chief. After half an hour the communicator's amplifier had been installed and fired up. While some static had started up, the hologram communicator had finally gotten a clear signal. Anakin. Snips, you made it. I'm glad to know you're okay. I see you've reunited with Master Yoda, Kenobi, Windu and Fisto. Wade, is Green next to you? Izuku. Great to see you again, Sky Guy, but we have more pressing issues to address. As the mood turned dead serious, other masters decided to let Izuku have the floor and speak. Izuku. We have to figure out a way for THR cloning facility to be brought over to my world without alerting the Sith, or else we're going to be having a bad time. Anakin. We can probably send some equipment and engineers your way so that you can start a facility on your world. Claire. That's the issue, this world hasn't evolved technologically due to the people developing quirks which halted every form of advancement. Katsuki. Can I say something? Everyone present looked at the ash blonde-haired young man who made his voice known. Izuku. What is it, Kaken? Katsuki. There's someone in my class who can create anything inorganic as long as she has the chemical formula. Izuku. Can you bring them to me now? Katsuki. Sure. Ponytail, get over here. The girl stepped forward, nervous, unsure, but she relaxed when she was asked, is it true? Upon seeing Izuku's calm and inquisitive expression, she relaxed. The girl nodded. Momo. I'm Momo Yaoi Rozu, I can show you if you like. Suddenly she created rope and a metal staff out of her arm. The Jedi were impressed with what they saw and saw fit to quickly enlist her help. Obi-Wan. Is there any drawback? Momo. I use the lipids in my body in order to create these items. So if I overexert myself I won't be of any more use. Mace. Is there any way to combat the drawback? Momo. I would have to eat and rest before continuing, but I've been training hard to push beyond my limits. Yoda. Willing to take on this task, are you? Momo. With everything I've got. Momo said with a fire in her eyes, showing that she wouldn't back down from this challenge. Anakin. We'll begin to send the blueprint for some of the essential parts. The larger components would be brought to you by a Republic cruiser. Izuku. Anakin, I say you send the main clone DNA with the cruiser and destroy the Kamino clone facility. Everyone was shocked, including the clones who were around the transmission. Fives. With all due respect, General, Kamino is our home. Izuku. I understand perfectly, but if the Sith get any bit of this technology, they will likely amass a powerful army, and we'd but outgunned in an instant. All clones knew he had a point, but abandoning the place they called home seemed wrong in so many ways. Anakin. Truth is, the owners of the facility had the same plan as you. They installed a failsafe system that activates, causing everything to self-destruct if the entire facility is shut down, then started back up again. Izuku. I see, well then download and save all critical data from the facility, after that's done erase everything from the computers so nothing falls into the wrong hands. Anakin. Don't worry, Green, the operation has already started. We'll send you a communication signal when we begin to make our way to you, Skywalker out. Just as the transmission ended, a set of blueprint was sent to them with critical components needed to build a new cloning facility. Those blueprints were handed immediately to Yaoi Rozu. When Mei saw those blueprints she quickly peeked over Momo's shoulder. Mei. If you'd like, I can help make a fabricator to assist you with making the larger items so you don't tire yourself too much. Momo. I would appreciate any help. Izuku. Alright, as for the rest of us, we have to prepare the arrival for thousands of clones and a place to land our ships. Nezu. I have a solution to that, follow me. But the click of a remote, Nezu had revealed a secret underground military base that was beneath UA. Nezu. Would this be enough to house your troops? Izuku. How many levels are there underground? Nezu. Over 1,000. There's also an elevator with 1,000 buttons. Yoda. Work well, this will. As plans were looking up, the next step was to search for a Jedi temple that is located in Izuku's hometown. Chapter 15 Rescue. After the crazy night of having clones and pro-heroes change shifts to monitor any strange activity, Momo Yaoi Rozu and Mei Hatsune were going at a steady pace, creating necessary items for the new cloning facility. Although tension were high between clones and Mandalorians due to clones being made with Jango Fett's DNA, Izuku ensured that no infighting would occur. Izuku and Lily had tried to scout out the Jedi temple which they were told about by Master Yoda, but upon sensing the area they ran only to see nothing but a junkyard. Lily. What is this filth? Izuku. This, my dear, is years of neglect. Many people began to litter and so this place was born. Lily. I just truly hope that there is a Jedi temple under all this at the end. The two Jedi began to clear the beach using the force to compress the junk into neat cubes. After an hour of cleaning, Izuku got a transmission from Master Windu. Ace. Masters Midoriya and Sinclair, please return to UA, we've received a distress call for assistance. The moment Izuku and Lily returned to UA, they heard a distress signal go out. Help anyone listening, we've been fighting all morning, a large group of robots have landed in the mountains. This is Mandalay with the WWPC, this transmission was looped. Mace. Does anyone know where this person is stationed? Shota Izawa had stepped up along with President Mick and Vlad King. Izawa. I know where their base is, but we have to head to them immediately. Yoda. Who shall go? Izuku. Masters, allow Lily, Domino Squad and I to go. Obi-Wan. Allow me to tag along. Ahsoka. Let me go as well. Yoda. Very well, leave now you shall. As the rescue team was formed, Izuku, Lily and Domino Squad rode in one clone transport, while Aizawa shared another with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, while Mick and Vald were riding in a separate carrier. Comms. Izuku. Eraserhead, can you give me any info on the hero team we're rescuing? Eraser. We're rescuing the WWPC. They are a mountain rescue team. If you see large golems made of earth, they are friendly. Izuku. Okay, thanks for the heads up. Comms end. Upon getting closer to the WWPC location, blaster fire could be heard, which made the heroes antsy, hoping they weren't late. It wasn't until they could hear blaster fire in the distance. Once the sound could be heard, the pilots began to speed up. Upon getting to the WWPC HQ, they saw separatist tanks and large amount of droids. Although there were many droids attacking Earth golems, the battle seemed to be going in favor of the droid army, as the number of golems was slowly declining, and any new ones that were made weren't as large as the ones in the front. The transports had arrived. Being careful not to shoot the building, this caught the droids' attention and saw the Jedi, heroes and clones, jump out of the gunships. Droid commander. Jedi, blast them. Izuku. Sword and shield tactic. While the Jedi deflected blaster fire, the clones prepared grenades to throw them. The heroes who had joined were given blasters and taught how to shoot. As the Jedi, clones and heroes were able to push forward, the droids were quickly losing ground until one of the droid tanks fired a round, which was quickly sent back to them through the force. Droids began to retreat, but the gunships were blasting every droid that was falling back. Once the battle seemed to have been finished, all remaining golems had crumbled to the ground. They heard a voice in their heads, "Thank you for the assistance, but are you friend or foe?" Before somebody could try and respond, Eraserhead had shouted, "Mandalay, it's Eraser." This caused her to open the door to their HQ. She saw Jedi and clones. Mandalay. Thank you for the assist. We've been fighting all morning and are exhausted. 3 more adults dressed in feline attire had exited the building along with a child. The boy looked to be on guard and weary. Mandalay was afraid that the Jedi were there, hoping they wouldn't take her nephew away. Suddenly the little boy saw a droid out of the corner of his eye moving about to shoot one of the soldiers. Coda. No. The little boy shouted and stuck both arms out, causing the blaster bolt to freeze in midair. This surprised the clones and Jedi present. Meanwhile, Mandalay was freaking out. She didn't want to lose her nephew. He was all she had left in terms of family. The droid was dealt with swiftly, then Izuku began to approach the little boy, then Mandalay stood before him, protecting her last bit of family. Mandalay. Please don't take him. I'm sorry for keeping him hidden from the Jedi, but he's all the family I have left. Please don't take him. Izuku. Well, it would be impossible to take him to the Jedi temple since it was overrun by Sith. This news was a shock to Mandalay that the Jedi were overrun. She was nervous to ask any more questions, but she needed to know if Coda would be taken from her. Mandalay. Do you have to report my nephew to the Jedi Order? Izuku. I have to, but don't worry, there seems to be a Jedi temple here. My fiancé and I believe we found a temple here in Mustafa, Japan. Mandalay was shocked that there was a temple here in their country. Izuku. Before we bring you all to meet the Jedi Council, well, secure this HQ and build a larger base here to protect you and anyone who enter this area. Comms. Izuku. This is Master Midoriya to base. Do you copy? Base Windu. This is Master Windu. I copy. Izuku. We've secured the hero team and their base. I'd like to request we upgraded their base and have an army of clones who will assist them. Base. What kind of terrain would our soldiers deal with? Izuku. Mountain terrain. It would be good to have this type of base so we can potentially have a larger barrier formed around the country. Base. Very well, I'll send a shield generator along with the clone squads we'll send. Izuku. I also found a Force-sensitive child I'd like the council to meet, but please don't be angry with the boy's family. Base. Very well, I'd personally like to know why he was kept hidden from us. Comms end. Izuku turned to everyone. This place will become a base. All we have to do is wait for more clones. Mandalay. What about my nephew? Izuku. Don't worry, the Jedi Council has become more understanding. Although Mandalay was beginning to trust Izuku, she was afraid to lose her family. One of the clones removed his helmet and knelt down to the boy's level after removing his helmet. Hey kid, I'd like to thank you for saving me and my family's lives. Coda. You're welcome. Although the boy was afraid of being taken from his aunt, the soldier picked up on it and pet the boy's head as if to say it will be okay. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.